Good morning, Breakfast at Niners. It is so good to be with you this morning. Of course, I wish and I'm longing for the time that I can be with you physically and we can be biting into a bacon butty together as well as looking at the Bible together, but that will have to wait. Until then, this will have to do. But I'm really excited to be able to share with you this morning. If I've not met you, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Mike. I'm the vicar at the Lantern Church, and I now have oversight actually over all three churches in the parish: St Barnabas, yourselves, and the Lantern. And it's a joy as well as being a step up. But I'm really excited to be teaching this morning because this term at all three churches, why I mention it, and in the main services at all three churches, we're going to be looking at the same stuff. We're going to be going back to the words of Jesus, what he said about himself, and asking probably the most important question you'll ever have to answer. Who is Jesus? You see, the most important decision I think I ever made in my life was to put my faith in Jesus. The most important decision you'll ever make is whether or not to put your faith in Jesus. And if you're going to do that, you want to be sure, you want to be confident of who he is. How do we know who someone is? Well, we ask them the question. Just like in our reading today, the people ask at the end of verse 53 of Jesus, who do you think you are? Now, if we want to know who someone is, sometimes nowadays we look at a biography. This is a biography of Mahatma Gandhi. On the front it says from Sir Richard Attenborough, it says, the best biography of Gandhi. I was enthralled from the first page. It changed my life. Well, the stories of Jesus, the Gospels, have changed more lives in the history of Western man than any other words, any other biography. Here's another one. Barack Obama. And on the front of this one, it says his remarkable life story in his own words. Well, the gift of the Gospels, and particularly of the Gospel of John, is this is Jesus in his own words. And we're going to be looking at some of what are known as the I am statements of Jesus that we find in John. Some of them you might be familiar with. He says things like, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The only way to the Father is through me. He says, I am the light of the world, the bread of life. He says, I am the good shepherd. And we're going to be exploring what all of these things mean, what they say about him and what they mean to us as we try and make our mind up about Jesus. I said the most important decision any of us can make is whether we believe in Jesus. And so we're going to be doing a deep dive into Jesus's words. And we start in chapter 8 of John's Gospel, the great I am statement in John's Gospel. So in the context of this, we've read from verse 48 this morning, but if you jump back a little bit further to verse 31 and 32, we'll see that the context of this is the people that Jesus is speaking to are actually people who are trying to put their faith in him. They're trying to follow him. They started going to his church. Verse 31, it says, to the Jews who believed in him, Jesus said, and what did he say? First astonishing claim of this section. He says, if you hold on to my teaching, you really are my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. What he's saying, and it unfolds in the verses below, is this isn't about a physical freedom. This is about a spiritual freedom, true spiritual freedom, freedom to live the life that you were always made to live under God. And these people think that they are living that life under God, but Jesus is revealing to them, actually, if you understand the claims that I'm making about myself, you'll realise that actually we don't share the same Father at the moment. You don't really understand. But Jesus is saying, if you hold on to my teaching, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This is the truth that you need to live the life that you were always meant to live under God. And then a bit later in our reading that we read today, just had read, in verse 51, Jesus says, very truly I tell you, whoever obeys my word, who puts their faith, follows my teaching, will never see death. That's an astonishing claim. What does he mean? If someone says, like, If you follow my teaching, you will know the truth, all truth. It will set you free in this life. If you believe in me, you will never die. Like Gandhi never said that. Barack Obama never said that. Someone says that, it's perfectly natural for them then to ask, who do you think you are to be making claims like this? This is where he drops the bomb. I wish we had more time to look at this passage in more depth. There's more here. But verse 58, towards the close of our reading, very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. Before Abraham was born, I am. Now at this point, their minds go, and those people who were believers in Jesus, followers of Jesus, they'd started going to his church at the start of the passage, why I highlighted this. By the end of the passage, verse 59, they picked up stones to stone him. They wanted to kill him because they were so outraged at what he had said. Why was it so outrageous to say, before Abraham was born, I am? Well, let me spell it out for us. Before Abraham was born, the founder of the Jewish faith, I am. Exodus chapter 3, verse 14. Moses, another founder of the Jewish faith, encounters God in a burning bush that's not burning up. And the voice of God comes out of the bush and defines himself this way. I am that I am. Not I was, I'm not caused, I'm not created. I am the cause. I am existence. I am the creator. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the one who flung the stars into space. I command angel armies. I breathe life into you. I am the sustainer of all things. I just am. And Jesus, this man of flesh and blood before them, they've just started going to his church. They can see him. They can touch him. They've seen what he's done. They've followed him. They can probably smell him. They're so close. Standing in front of them says, I am. I am co-equal with the great I am. It's outrageous. Unless it's true. Even then, it's outrageous. So in some ways, I don't blame them for picking up stones to stone him. Jesus says, I am God. C.S. Lewis, who's famous for writing the Chronicles of Narnia, very famously kind of came up with this way of dealing with some of the outrageous claims of Jesus that are typified in this. This is what he would have been thinking of. And he says this, because you see a lot of people today, I think, that I meet, and I don't know whether this is true of you, actually, and they like the idea of Jesus. They think he's a nice guy. He was probably a really good moral teacher, but to believe that he was God is a claim too far. It's like, that's too much. C.S. Lewis puts it this way. He says, I'm trying to prevent anyone saying the foolish thing that people often say about him, which is, I'm ready to accept Jesus as a great moral teacher, but I don't accept his claim to be God. So listen up if you know anyone like that, or even if that's you, because C.S. Lewis is saying that option might not be open to you because of passages like this. So he says that's the one thing we must not say. A man who was merely a man and said the sort of things that Jesus said, which I've tried to highlight are pretty nutty here, would not be a great moral teacher. He'd either be a lunatic, insane, thinks he's God, but he's clearly not, on a level with a man who thinks he's a poached egg, or he'd be, C.S. Lewis says, the devil of hell. What he means by that is he knows perfectly well. Other logical option, either he's mad or he's not mad, but he knows he's not God. He's saying he is, and he's deliberately deluding people, deceiving them. He's evil, to like more evil than anyone's ever been, because think of all the people who foolishly believed in him, if it's not true, over all the millennia. So C.S. Lewis continues. He says, you must make your choice. Either this man was and is the Son of God, or else a madman or something worse. You can shut him up for a fool, you can spit at him and kill him as a demon, or you can fall at his feet and call him Lord and God. But let's not come up with any patronising nonsense about him being a great human teacher. He's not left that open to us. He didn't intend to. The most important decision you will ever make is in response to this question: who do you think Jesus is? This term, we're going to look at who Jesus thought he was. We're going to look at who the gospel writers thought he was. We're going to look at what Christians have thought about Jesus over the millennia. And I'd encourage you, if you haven't done an Alpha course, we're going to be doing that, loads of those at the Lantern as well, which you're really welcome to join us for. Exploring the foundations of the Christian faith, exploring the person and the claims of who Jesus is. And we're doing all of this and having so much emphasis on Jesus this term, because ultimately at the heart of the Christian faith is this belief that Jesus was, in fact, the Son of God.